Next, I'd like to introduce Yannick Jensen, all the way from Stockholm in Sweden. Yannick is an international sales manager at Medclaire. Medclaire is a brilliant Swedish company that has designed state-of-the-art destruction units that collect and destroy nitrous oxide exhaled directly from patients to prevent it being scavenged and vented into the atmosphere, as well as minimizing occupational exposure for staff. He's going to provide some insights on how these devices work and the benefits that they have. Welcome, Yannick.
Thank you. I'm just going to share my screen and hopefully you see what I see. Is there a thumb up? Do you see it? All right, thank you for that. Small correction, I'm Danish, based in Copenhagen. I'm not based in Stockholm, but the company that I do represent is based in Stockholm. And the technology that I do talk about is by all means not new. This is something that the Swedish people started doing 12 years ago. So the technology is not a new thing. Anyway, thank you for inviting me here to the ANZCA, and thank you for all of you sitting behind your screens listening in. Here are the contact info on the slide if you want to contact us in Medclaire. We are a small, very small Swedish company, and we do work with Mediquip in Australia. So if you have any questions, anything that you want to ask about, please contact Mediquip or ourselves. But as I say, we are represented by Mediquip in Australia. Next slide. So I think we have been over this, right? That this is a greenhouse gas, and I will not talk so much about that. I think other people have mentioned it. What I also would like to mention, and I think that you, Rob, Bernard, did mention it, that this is a gas that comes with threshold limits for exposure. So I think this is important to mention as well, that this is also going to be about staff safety. And we talk about two missions when I do talk about it. We talk about, of course, a sustainability mission, but we also talk about staff safety. Here in Medclaire, we destroy the gas with nitrous oxide, and we destroy it into nitrogen and oxygen, which is basically room air. This is what our technology does. I took this picture, and I took this picture from a UK hospital, and I do think it represents the issue. I have never, and I say never, and when I say never, I mean that I have worked for a gas company, traveled throughout the Scandinavian region for 13 years, promoting nitrous oxide, how it's used safely. I've never seen this system in any Scandinavian hospital. And the reason why I haven't seen it is, of course, that we are extremely strong on this thing with threshold limits for exposure. And this system has some issues, right? That, of course, that lady will inhale through a demand valve. And I kind of like that technology because that will only dose gas on inspiration. So it's not free flow. That's, of course, it's good for safety for the patient, but it's also good for safety of the environment. Opposite to that would be free flow of gas. And I have not seen that in any Scandinavian hospital. In Scandinavia, we do not use a mouthpiece. We use a face mask for this. And of course, we do it because there are threshold limits for exposure. And a lot of our protocols for using Entonox is designed by anesthetic doctors. And anesthetic doctors will know that this thing about using a mouthpiece might cause issues with exposure to staff. So 95% of all Scandinavian midwives, and I do talk here about midwives because they're the power users on it, will use a face mask. And they will also use devices where it's possible to collect the exhale gas. And what you see on this device is that there are holes on the back of it, meaning that all this exhale gas will go out of those small holes. It will not be collected or removed out of that room. So it will not do any good for the midwives. It will not do anything good to our technology either, because where do we collect from? So our technology is based on equipment where you collect the exhale gas and you remove it over to our technology for destruction. So I would encourage you as anesthetic doctors to go to your power users, and that would be the midwives, and really look at what equipment do they use today. And if they use one of these devices, then talk about that perhaps this is not the best device to work with this. I'm not going to talk so much about the benefits. I will say that here, and I'm based in Copenhagen, Denmark. Here we have protocols for using the Entonox program. We have the program with the midwives, of course. We have the protocols for using these with children. We also have them with adults. And what I kind of like about these protocols is that they're designed by multiple different people. So we always have a footprint from anesthetic doctors on these protocols, because you're considered to be the gas experts. So anesthetic doctors provide the protocols to the midwives or to the emergency doctors, children doctors, on how to use this safely. What we do here in Medclair is that we destroy, we collect, and we do measurement. This is our product portfolio. So if we talk about, and I saw a picture of our big unit, this is of course what we do. We collect the exhale gas. As I pointed out, this is important. This is the midwives, right? They're the power users. They collect the exhale gas, and then they lead that over to an AGS outlet. And for those of you that say this AGS outlet that I talk about, what is that? I mean, you as anesthetic doctors will use the same outlet, because you work with your anesthetic machine, and all that gas that you use is evacuated over to an AGS outlet. And then where does that gas go from that outlet? Well, a lot of hospitals will just vent it to the roof, or out the window, or out, the wall somewhere. What we do here is that we collect it, and we have one single pipeline collecting from all these rooms. So you have an AGS outlet in each and every room. We make the midwives collect the exhale gas, we move it over to that outlet, and then from one single pipeline, we lead it to a technical facility. I saw some of you that showed pictures of the manifold system. Could be the same room, and I usually see it in the same room. That's where they have the manifold system, that all these AGS outlets that the midwives then are using, one single pipeline leading it down to a technical facility, and then from there we install our big unit, and our big unit is collected up to electricity, and by heat we destroy the gas, that being nitrogen and oxygen, room air, and that's what we leave behind. So here you see that one single pipeline coming into a pump, generates the vacuum to the outlet. We remove that exhale gas over to our central destruction system, and we destroy it. We also have the same technology, of course, as being mobile. So we have just downscaled the same technology into a mobile unit. And these mobile units are now coming into Australia and New Zealand. So I would encourage the audience here to flag and perhaps ask to trial and test these units. They're mobile. I mean, so this is the plug and play unit that you just connect to electricity, and then of course you guide your users to put in this exhalation hose to your current inhalation system. And by that you then collect the exhale gas and you remove it over to our device. This will work on electricity, where we heat up the gas and we destroy the nitrous oxide to just being oxygen and nitrogen, and that will fall to the floor as just being room air. These mobile units are usually used in small scale user departments. So that would be emergency, pediatric, these kind of settings. But I mean, I also do talk now with a lot of midwives, especially in UK, where they say, we don't have this AGS outlet in each and every room. We still want to onboard the technology. How do we do it easily? And of course, this is the easy fix, right? This is the easy access to our technology. That's just to get into the destruction technology with applying for one of these mobile units. That's the easiest, cheapest enter to our technology. The third thing that we also do is, of course, that we measure, and I think Dr. Rob Burrell was on that how much are we really doing to the power users, the midwives. This is our portable NOD, nitrous oxide detector, that staff can wear on their uniform. It's a technology that kinds of beep, if you're heavily exposed, it will give you a warning and say, hey, you're not doing this right. You need to collect more gas. You need to check your equipment. Is there something, you're not doing right? And then what it kind of also does is that it's possible to data log. So you can connect it to a computer, and then you can see exactly what have your staff been exposed to. Here in Denmark, Sweden, and Norway, we work with threshold limits for exposure. I'm pretty sure you have the same thing in Australia and New Zealand. And this is a guiding tool. I kind of talk about it as a coaching tool to coach the staff to use this thing about collect, remove the gas in a right way. So this is the third device that we do talk with a lot of healthcare professionals about at the moment. But these are the three things that I have brought with me. A lot of articles out there, and I will not talk about that. I will say that, thank you for participating. And I think the take-home message for me is that I do talk with a lot of hospitals throughout Scandinavia. These nitrous oxide programs have a very high value in hospital settings. I know that I now sit here in front of anesthetic doctors, perhaps not with you, right? I mean, when I do talk with hospitals here in Scandinavia, do I talk to anesthetic doctors concerning the operation rooms? No, not usually, because I mean, you work with more powerful agents and maybe you don't work so much with nitrous oxide, but you certainly have the knowledge to write these protocols and assist the power users. But I do think nitrous oxide programs should be safe for healthcare professionals. And then I do know that nitrous oxide programs can have zero impact to our environment. My contact details are here. If you need any assistance, you want to set up a meeting with us through Zoom, Teams, please don't hesitate to reach out. And as I did say in my beginning, we work with MedEquip in Australia and New Zealand. So please also contact them if you need further assistance on it. Thank you.
Thank you, Yannick, for that fascinating talk. It looks like really impressive technology.